I'm Jackie Kemp. I am the founder and executive director of Lead the Way Learning Academy. So at Lead the Way Learning Academy, we focus on youth development and youth workforce development. So we're helping young people get prepared for their life beyond high school. I joined the military because I was on the brink of homelessness. I didn't want to go back to my grandmother's house, and I didn't want to be a couch surfer. So the military offered some structure and stability, quite frankly. I started out as a stenographer or executive secretary, executive administrative assistant, and served a number of roles as an administrator. I think the role what prepared me most for the role that I'm doing as the founder of Lead the Way Learning Academy is really my experience as a parent. That was really me helping my children. My daughter had a speech impediment. As a result of that, I really wanted to be involved with her teacher in her classroom. How can I help her and help other kids in the process and help the staff in the process? So I became a lifelong volunteer, youth development. So I was that parent that was in the classroom once a week. My daughter served as my assistant, so she gave out treats. That helped her gain leverage with her peers in the classroom. It really did. And then the teachers were able to understand. I can have conversations with teachers because at that point, a lot of teachers had their own perception of a young person so she had a speech impediment. So the idea, talking to her kindergarten teacher, well, she was in speech therapy, but she doesn't really need to know this. She did need to know what was going on in the classroom, so I was able to advocate for her. I became a strong advocate for my daughter. I was asked to be a volunteer for the I Know I Can program. So that was all the college knowledge, the college information. Did those as a volunteer 5 years at Beechcroft High School. So one of my colleagues on the board, the Diversity Advisory Board at the Fisher College of Business, had an opening. They needed a coordinator for this program called High School High Tech. And it was helping high school kids with disabilities transition from high school to a career. So I took that project on, and that was really where I fully knew and understood that this is my calling. The work that I do is my calling. So taking that as a parent, and then my military experiences, the ability to administer programs on a large scale. I have a diversity background. My last assignment in the military, I was the course director for the executive administrative assistants. So understanding how to develop curriculum, managing programs, that was one of the things that I did very well in the military. So what I'm doing now is part passion that I have for my kids, becoming an advocate without fully realizing that was the role that I was taking on. And then the administrative work is a big part of what I do as well. Joining the military was one of the best things that could have ever happened to me. What I realized years later is that I met the expectations that people had of me. And what I mean by that is the expectations were low. Jackie's gonna show up with an attitude. Check. I showed up with an attitude. Jackie's not gonna cooperate. Check. I didn't cooperate. And so a lot of people discounted me. A lot of folks didn't look at me as someone who was worth their time and effort. It was just, let's get her graduated and get her out of here. I met all of those low expectations. In the military, my drill sergeant, he saw me as a leader. He saw a lot of the things that I had, a lot of the things that I did where some folks saw it as an attitude problem. He saw my leadership abilities. And so he focused on the leadership abilities. I laugh a lot because my grandmother was very, very disciplined. And we got in trouble one day as a unit, and we had to scrub toilets. And I was like, hey, I know how to do that. He had nothing on my grandmother. But it was just, it was the positive expectations. There were the rewards that came with fulfilling those positive expectations. You saw the consequences of the negative expectations. And for the first time, I didn't want to be with that group and I didn't want to be that person. Seeing the positives, helping young people see their worth and their self-value, challenging them to level up in a way that you can do this. How you do it is the real key and the real issue. So helping a young person really truly understand and believe you can do this. It's not that hard. It's how you do it. It's the approach. It's challenging them to be the best that they could possibly be. And I absolutely love that the staff, they're really committed to helping a young person. We really focus on our purpose is to provide purpose, direction, and motivation, and opportunities. And we do that through the programs that we serve and activities that we provide to our young people. Your purpose, doing assessments, exposing them to different opportunities that they would typically not have, exposing them to careers that they typically wouldn't have exposure to, taking those self-assessments, really analyzing what does this assessment really say? Do you agree with it? Setting goals, and then providing, again, opportunities for work experiences, opportunities for educational experiences, opportunities and exposure to resources that they might not even be aware of. So we love what we do. All the opportunities that are available for veterans. So for me, when I retired, I heard the whole time I was in the military, it was always this retirement. But actually retiring, I really did not fully comprehend the benefits until I retired. So I had 2 children. I was a single parent. We had medical and dental benefits. Didn't cost a whole lot. My children got to go to Ohio University 5 years. They went tuition free. Tuition and fees were paid. You couldn't ask for more. They got other scholarships from the Army that covered the parts that the one major scholarship didn't cover. So that's that. And again, access to the medical, having a community of retirees that you can fellowship with. There are a lot of benefits to being in and transitioning when you're out. I was talking to a cousin earlier who's interested in the Navy, and just having those conversations. What do the military offer now? Do they still offer the GI Bill? So what does the GI Bill encompass? When I joined, there was no GI Bill. Shortly after, there was a GI Bill. The GI Bill covers the education while you're in school full time. Your room and board is covered. You get a food allowance. You get a book allowance. There's all of these opportunities, but you have to ask exactly what is that you want. And if you don't know what you want, at least you go in, you get a career field. You have exposure to other opportunities beyond the military. I mean, my speaking career began in the military. Was unsuspecting. I had no idea that. I really didn't learn and understand that training was a passion for me. Advocacy was a passion for me. But the different job opportunities that I had within the military, that right there was the beginning of who I am right now.